there, Bowflex Barbie here, your host of the Flex Pretty podcast. And y'all, I know I say this every episode, but like, for real, I have a very special guest with me today. I mean, I only invite very special people, but today's guest is really, really special to me because it is my best friend.
The most special. Just putting that out there.
Gabriella is here on the Flex Pretty podcast. Welcome.
Thank you, bestie. Let's go.
I feel like this is going to be
all over the place.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Prepare your soul and your heart.
Oh, man. Okay.
In that order. The heart is not first. Let's go.
So Gabby has been my friend since
time.
We've known each other since 7th grade. We got really close. I would say after high school. We played sports together in high school. But like, yeah, we became like locked in.
Fish fry.
Locked in. Ain't no switching up. When we were in college, like first or second year of college.
Definitely.
And we've been riding ever since.
That part.
Yeah. So Gabby's visiting right now. Visited Nassau and came through, pulled up.
Always.
Skirt.
Pinky ring.
Oh, damn.
It's worth $250, guys. You get it later.
Yeah, no, they won't. Probably.
No, okay,
But Gabby, for those who don't know you, I want you to just introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you, what you do, who you are.
Cool, guys. Do I look at the camera or do I talk to you?
Talk to me.
Okay. Wow. Okay, my name is Gabriella. Those who know me call me Gabby. I always tell people, if you're mad at me, call me Gabriella. That way I have an excuse to prepare when you tell me whatever you're accusing me of. I grew up in Grand Bahama, same as Kelly. She already said that her and I went to the same high school where we got super close after college, but enough about her and I, it's more about me. Mm-hmm. I went to University of Bahamas where I studied chemistry for a bit, got my associates, and then went to University of South Florida in Tampa where I studied chemical engineering. Hated that. Switched over to industrial engineering where I found a major that I loved. And then once I graduated, I went to this lovely company called Goldman Sachs. And for those of y'all who don't know, it is a wealth management division, a wealth management firm. It deals with ultra high net worth individuals. Mm-hmm. And at that firm, I worked in operations department where I was responsible for automating certain processes. And then later on, once I did a project, I was like, dang, I really like working with people. So let me try to find a more client-facing role. And of course, I wanted to be closer to my family because at the time I was in Utah, which is on the next side of the United States of America. Mm-hmm. So I came closer to Miami where I'm in the private wealth division and I'm client-facing. And I can't exactly tell you what I do, but I do.
Spy.
I help rich people get richer. Let's put it like that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so that's a little about me.
Awesome. So Gabby, let's talk a little bit. I mean, we're on the Flex Pretty podcast. Let's talk a little bit about you growing up. Like, I know you grew up in Grand Bahama. Mm-hmm. I know you have an athletic background, right?
Yeah.
Talk me through, like, I guess, what got you into sports? Was it just like you were good in PE class and your coaches were like, you can do this sport? Or like, did you gravitate towards it? Like, talk me through that.
Actually, I feel like there's a conspiracy behind me getting into sports. If you ask me at this ripe age, I feel like my parents put me in it so I don't deal with no boys. They just wanted to keep me busy after school. So, all right, she athletic enough in PE, like you said. Mm-hmm. Afterwards, what is there for her to do? All right, let's put in volleyball. Let's put in basketball. Let's put in softball. Sorry, y'all. Mom and Dad, I really caught on to the... You did well, but I mean, I caught on to your little rift. So, yeah, I found that I was in love with that. It taught me a lot about camaraderie, how to have discipline, how to lose and win well. And after that, I just got so interested in fitness itself, especially riding with my girl and seeing how your family was so deep into fitness and everything. And I found that I wanted to do more than just, okay, after school, play some basketball, everything, especially going into college. And as you know, I stay hitting you up about, Kelly, how to grow my booty. Okay, Kelly, I want to get some more weight on me. Okay, how to do this exercise. So I think I looked more to you for that fitness beyond what school sort of introduced me to.
Sports,
yeah, correct.
Okay, cool. So I think, talk me through like when you did transition from, all right, I was playing sports to now I'm working out for a specific goal, but I also like want to be healthy. Like, what was the, I guess, initial like now I'm going to start my fitness journey beyond being athletic. Talk me through what your mindset was in that space. Like, was it I just want to be thick? Was it I need a stress reliever? Like, what was the, I guess, motivation behind even getting into that?
Actually, it was because I was getting sick a lot. Not sick as in some sort of illness, intense illness, just headaches, just not feeling well, low energy. And I feel like one of those times I did hit you up in terms of just finding out, okay, how do I eat more? And as obvious as it seems, one of the advice that you give was like, okay, you don't have to eat a lot within the time, within one sit-in, but you have to eat throughout the day or eat more frequently, smaller meals. I know what I'm saying is probably not relatable to a lot of people, because whenever I talk about putting on weight, people roll their eyes at me. Right. No one sympathizes. No one sympathizes with me at all. But from a health point of view, literally, I found that the more I ate, and to give you background to that, my family. For y'all who don't know, my family is super slim, super skinny, and that's just genetics. And a part of it is the fact that we don't eat as often as we should. But it's literally because that's how we are wired. I'll go into detail, but no need for that. Long story short, we skinny. Yeah. So once I realized that it was because of low-key malnourishment, like low-key not getting the nutrients that I need, I'm like, okay, I need a motivation to do so, because I'm not gonna eat. Once again, y'all, stop rolling y'all eyes. I know this is very unrelatable to a lot of people, but fitness kind of caused me to have a motivation to do so, to say, okay, you know what? After it actually, as you would know, it stimulates your appetite. It causes you to want to eat these whole foods. And once I saw the weight, now to the
vain side.
Vain side of it, the aesthetics. Come on now,
okay,
I framed this properly.
Sorry, aesthetics.
Yes, once I saw the growth, I was like, okay, I'm liking this. I like the endorphins. I like how I feel after I work out. And I like the fact that it turned into not just, trying to live a healthier lifestyle, but okay, this is actually therapeutic for me. Yeah. I am feeling good both inside the gym as well as when I look in the mirror. And that's sort of how it transformed into, a lifestyle now.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, I know. I can remember, like, from time, like,
oh gosh,
from college time, you was like making protein shakes with ice cream and
everything.
And get thick, quick shakes.
Okay, oh my God, Dad. First of all, they were Whole Foods. They were bananas.
Ice cream was Whole Foods.
Blended into something, but I did what I needed to do at the time, but it did evolve into making more healthier decisions and not just putting calories. I came a long way. And second of all, you don't get to judge me, because I was in college and I was broke. I needed ice cream.
You needed some calories.
However I may get it.
I got you.
Thank you.
No judgment. I mean, I was on the other end of the spectrum. Like, when I was in college trying to like get in shape for our last spring break. Well, my last spring break. I remember just eating. I was eating definitely not enough, but I mean, what I was eating was whole, but it was literally like just chicken, rice, and mixed veg every day, and like 2 protein shakes, and that was all.
Which
I was
wasn't as balances.
No, definitely not enough food. But I mean, I was at a deficit, so I lost a couple pounds getting ready. But it wasn't. I realized, like, looking back, it just wasn't sustainable. I did it for a couple months, and then I had to adjust a lot. So I get that. And I think a big reason why I wanted you to share like your connection to fitness, because I know, like you said, like a lot of people don't relate to like wanting to put on, but there are a lot of people that do.
True.
But they are in a similar position. Like you said it so many times, like, y'all don't be like,
right.
Don't roll your eyes. Don't judge me, because it's not the most common thing. Right. But there are a lot of people that are trying to put on quality weight or quality muscle, and they're struggling, right? So I want you to share, I guess, if you could share one thing that was a game changer for you, because now, I mean, you're like 2 pounds away from your goal.
I'm just saying, guys. Y'all about to cost me Holy Ghost dance up in here. But yeah, in terms of one of the things was a game changer for me was not relying on, I won't call any names, but certain pills and syrups to stimulate my appetite. I had to, like you said, make it sustainable. I would find that those things would work, but I would be dependent on those rather than, having to take it every day in order to feel that, stimulation of your appetite. So the tough part about that is, like anything, any change is going to be uncomfortable. Any change is going to be a bit hard for your body to adjust to. So y'all, when I tell y'all, I went through a period where literally, like I said, I'm not trying to use syrups or anything like that. I want to teach my body to crave this food.
Eat more, yeah.
Right. So it's, and a part of that is expanding your stomach. A part of that is getting your body used to this volume of food. Y'all, I would eat. And when I tell you I couldn't do nothing but go lay down on the bed, to the point where it was almost debilitating. And it sounds ridiculous, but it was so uncomfortable. And I thought to myself, I did it for a week and I literally wanted to quit that because it felt so uncomfortable. And I thought about the sustainability. I kid you not, literally that following week, it took about 7 days. It may vary depending on, who you are, but my body got used to timing my meals. Okay, 2:00, I'm hungry. 4:00, I need a little snack. Like it got to the point where I actually was, all right, I need to eat. Yeah, I sounded like you. Like,
I'm ready to eat.
Right. And Kelly is be to the point where she ain't focusing on nothing until she gets some food. Her mood is little wanky there. And then when she like, okay, I'm eating.
You think you probably agree with that. So yeah.
But yeah, to long story short, it definitely was conditioning my body to do so. And literally, it's just a matter of starting small. One thing I realized is that both of us talk about shakes. It's easier to drink than it is to eat. So even when you find yourself trying to quote unquote force food down, it's better for you to eat your meal and then drink a shake afterwards. And as long as you condition yourself to do those things in a sustainable way, then that has been definitely a game changer for me.
Yeah, but I think that's the underlying theme with weight loss too, right?
Right.
Like you said, it's uncomfortable. You gonna want the foods you ain't supposed to eat.
You gonna punch it a hole through a wall when you're hungry.
It's uncomfortable, especially when you're used to. And on the reverse side of that, if you're someone used to eating more, right, and now you're eating significantly less. But even then, you gotta go into it gradually, right? You can't just dive head first into 1,100 calories when you was eating 3,000.
Because you will pass out.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
we gotta scare them, guys. We gotta scare them.
Yeah, but it is uncomfortable. I think on both sides. And then something that stood out, which you shared just now, is just the beauty, and you didn't word it like this, but what I got from it was the beauty of and the power of consistency, right?
Yeah.
And working through that uncomfortable phase.
Yes.
To get into the rhythm, and then once you get into the rhythm, it's all right. You find your groove, and you're able to but like I said, it's finding that balance between consistency and sustainability, because you're not going to be able to be consistent if it's not sustainable.
Yeah, if it's super impractical.
Yeah. And I've been I've been there too in trying to shred or even thinking about bodybuilding, competing. That lifestyle is
drastic.
It's drastic, and it's only meant for a few weeks, a few months out of the year. It's not meant to be a lifestyle,
right.
Indefinitely.
Right.
So I think even for me, looking at it, I've had to learn to look at it from that lens of I'm going to do this for this period of time, and then I have to find a different
avenue,
different balance, a different I guess definition of what balance and lifestyle is after that. So you have the seasons,
right?
So for me, that's kind of how I guess navigate that space. Okay, I know what on season looks like, and I know what off season looks like for me. Both are I'm gonna look different in both, but the objective for me now is I want to feel my best in both, and still feel comfortable and confident, and I can sustain both. Well, not sustain both, but I can sustain both for the time period that I need to. Off season is if I decide I'm gonna stop competing, I know that I can do that and feel my best and look my best. And I also, if I'm actively trying to compete, I know the level of dedication and commitment and consistency that I need to pull that off too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think the important part of what you said is managing your expectation according to what season you in. So when I was in college, we joke about the ice cream, but literally I didn't have no bunch of money to be buying avocados and what I mean? Avocado walk.
Couldn't be popping it off like that.
I'm saying. So I had to realize that, okay, what does this fitness look like in this stage in my life? And to make it more transferable, you may have kids, you may have a demanding job. Like me, my job is super demanding, so I order my food. I make sure it's quality food, but I spend money.
Yeah.
I spend money on a delivery service who I probably have their stock to the roof right now. But I feel like what I had to realize is that just because, especially you being my best friend, I have this girl body in my face always. So it could be easy to say, boy, you know what? Must be nice. Must be stinking nice. But is you trying not to compare yourself or trying not to compare your season with somebody or their body type. You have a completely different set of genetics than I do. Mm-hmm. So I think with me, I know I'm definitely harder on myself than I should. And for anyone who this is, right, anyone this applicable to, it's just managing your expectation, not using it as an excuse, but just saying, okay, realistic, right, what does success look like in this phase in my life, in this stage, and what I am dealing with.
Yeah, I like that. And let's dive into, I mean, you talked about, being a wealth manager. You're in wealth management now.
A wealth management professional is my...
You're a wealth management professional. I know from time you were saying it's a high stress job, right? And you're busy, you work a lot of hours. So talk me through, I guess, some of the non-physical, like besides, hitting this specific or hitting this aesthetic goal, this weight goal that I know that's one of your goals. Talk me through some of the benefits you've seen from, I know you said it was helping you or you started working out to avoid, feeling not well or feeling getting sick as often as you did. But talk me through some of the other non-aesthetic, non-weight goal benefits that you've seen from incorporating regular fitness, better nutrition into your lifestyle.
It has centered me, as extra as that sounds. Is literally, if I have a tough day, and my mom, because she visited me as a late, and she literally laughs, I would have a busted day, come home, I don't want to do nothing except lay down, and I say, okay, I gotta go to the gym, because I feel like it makes me feel like I did something for myself that day. I literally poured into my work or into my family or whatever the case is, but this is for me. One, it causes me to run things through my mind, to work out problems, and sometimes to escape problems, to just take a break, to unplug, to unplug. And those are like my two main things. And also I listen to let's say podcasts or sermons or just find a way to excuse me, to listen to things that is independent of my immediate lifestyle. Like let me think of an example. If I wanted to learn more about human psychology, or if I wanted to understand like the most randomest stuff
that's not in your everyday life.
Exactly. It's almost like a little escape pod that I have, that I could focus on Gabby, and that has been like the most monumental benefit that I've found, because we find ourselves, whether you have kids, whether you have a high demand job, or whether you're in school, you are pouring so much into things that of course benefits you, of course helps you as a person. Right. But seldom we take the time to really take care of ourselves and say, okay, what is this doing for me? So I know I didn't list many things, but that one has been like the biggest benefit I've found in terms of, okay, what does Gabby want? How do I treat Gabby well? How do I look out for her? How do I take care of her? And how do I make her the center for this time being? If
it's for an hour or I like that. Yeah, I think for me, I mean, and that's how fitness started for me, and I think that's why I had such a, I didn't go in at 14, I didn't go into the gym I'm trying to be this weight, look like this. I just showed up, and I realized that I was getting those mental benefits. Now they're starting to release a whole lot of studies. You see, social media is circulating a lot of information about the brain benefits. They're exercising, it literally is you're working. Think about the brain as a muscle, and each time you work out, you're developing and enhancing the brain. There was something someone shared with me, and this doctor was talking about how regular exercise actually reduces your risk of getting neurodegenerative diseases like dementia and Alzheimer's, because it's so good for your brain. There's always you get the feel good hormones and the endorphins,
which would make sense.
We've been hearing that for years, but hearing it in that context from a medical doctor, it's 30 minutes 3 times a week is literally all you need to help
to literally have a better quality of life.
He said it may not, if you a lot of the other stuff come into play when you talk about those diseases genetics and stuff like that, but she's literally those types of diseases, by exercising you can either prolong the rate at which you if it is something genetic in your family, like you can prolong the rate at which you get it, like, or extend the time between where you are now and if you are to develop it. And she said even like you're able to get less of the symptoms or have it less intense if you are someone that may genetically be exposed to it. But I was like, like stuff like that, like we have all these different studies, we know it's good for us, right? But like hearing it from that context, it's like, all right, like this is like legit, like,
yeah. And it makes it more marketable. I feel like, I know growing up, I would associate working out, especially weightlifting, with looking manly or being manly, or some stigma that now if you look at Instagram, at least my feed, maybe it's a little tailored to my algorithm, but I mean the algorithm is tailored to me. Like you say, genetic comes into play. It's just your body looking, in my opinion, the best version of itself. And the fact that you can link it to not just health benefits, but the fact that, okay, we could look cute in the gym. It ain't just baggy t-shirts. I sound so superficial, but it's the reality behind a big thing too now. Yeah, like you said, you're taking that time to work on yourself. Yeah, you want to feel good, you want to look good. And I have people like, oh, the gym is not a fashion show. Like, so we went through this phase. I don't know if you've been seeing it too. Like social media went through this phase of like, all right, like you just wear whatever to the gym, just get into the work, and then there was this era of like the cute gym fits, and everyone was like, all right, we got to match, we got to look cute, which I'm all for that part. And then now like people are starting to shame people for like wearing makeup to the gym and wearing cute stuff, and like, oh, why are you naked? And like, you should just put on a t-shirt and a baseball cap and go. And I'm like, why? Like, let people live. Like, the fact that they in the gym is
like, unless your makeup smearing all over the machine, wear your makeup.
Because and on that note though, I've heard from a lot of females, at least friends on my behalf, a lot of times what stops them from going to the gym is being self-conscious,
and also not having like. There's the thing. So I think the being fashionable or being cute,
right.
It's double-edged sword, because like for us, it's like, yeah, we want to look good, we want to feel good while we working out, like look in the mirror and be like, all right, look, I look cute today. Right. And then you have people that are like, well, I don't have clothes like that, or I don't feel comfortable in clothes like that, so I don't want to go in my t-shirt and my sweats and feel out of place when the gym is filled with people in matching color coordinated sets
who treat it like a fashion show.
Which I mean
ain't a bad thing, because I do that.
I'm saying, so like I said, it's a double-edged sword, but I think the important thing is just remembering, like, focus on you, because a lot of times like you may think people focusing on you in the gym, but everybody worried about themselves.
That part,
at least 90%. If you're there and you're worried about yourself, like, you need to go come back
and figure it out. And even on that note, in terms of being nervous about not doing an exercise, right, or looking foolish with a child, but I'll be straight up. Ain't nobody checking for you unless you're doing something that low key get you hurt. Then of course it's more concern for you.
And then even then, sometimes people don't even step in. Like I'm careful with that as a trainer. Like if I have the rapport with somebody, or if I genuinely feel like they're going to like
take it,
hurt themselves, and if I feel like they're going to like be receptive to the help, sometimes you have to be careful, because I've been in situations where, like when I was younger, where people would come to me in the gym and like try to offer help, and I would be like,
could you not? You
can't tell me I'm doing something wrong when you look worse than me. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You may be right, but I'm just not receiving it. I'm just not in this place. And then it's also the approach, right?
Right.
The way they approached was like just off-putting.
Listen to me or else.
Yeah, it's like you should know better than this, or like what you like. It was very like, we ain't good like that, like.
So could you not?
Yeah. So like I'm careful with it too, because I realize like sometimes people may not be receptive to it, but like if it's a situation where like I know the person is like just starting out, or like, and I've had people tell me like, hey, like if you see me doing stuff wrong, like please tell me. Yeah. And I've like, I can usually use my discretion well, and like see like, okay, I should step in, because if this person they think they're doing this right and they're not, and like, and then they know I'm a trainer, I'm wearing like a trainer shirt or whatever, and they're like, all right, well, you must know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I feel like, especially if, let's say, they don't have someone like you around, YouTube videos, at this point, there's a video for everything. Yeah. I know, looking back on some of the exercise I was doing in college, if I could, I'm surprised I didn't pull my back or something. So it's just me watching videos, and I'm just saying this for anyone who may not have access to my girl and her elite skills. You could just watch videos and figure out, okay, look in the mirror at yourself at home. This is something I legit did to build confidence going in the gym, because it could be, it is intimidating, especially when you see sculpted bodies, and especially when you're just starting and you're just building your confidence. Look in the mirror and do those exercises and see, okay, how do I look? Does my form match this video? Do I look the same? That way, when you physically get in the gym, you're able to at least be assured that, okay, I'm doing it right. Even if the people around you seem intimidated. And just because, on the flip side of that, somebody's body, like the person who told you what to do and they look bust down, someone's body may be chiseled and they
may be doing the wrong form
crap. And it just so happened that working out for them. So like, don't even, and I've been guilty of that, adjusting something I'm doing because literally coincidentally someone else is doing it on the side of me, and I'm like, oh, let me switch it up. But if you practice and if you're sure if that's your form, don't let nobody in the gym intimidate you.
Sometimes, like, and I tell people it's not always a cookie cutter or like single way to do stuff. Everyone's like, you might think, okay, there's certain cues for certain lifts, or movements that are like standard, but everybody's body and mobility, flexibility, range of motion is different. So my bottom of my range maybe look totally maybe lower than yours, and so you may be looking at me saying, well, I gotta go lower, when in reality, like,
you don't.
We both at the bottom of our range. Like torso length.
And I've had people tell me that, you need to get lower, sir.
Hip flexibility, ankle, like all these things. You think about a squat, like people like, okay, well, some people are like, they do the butt wink or they drop their chest too much or whatever it is. But it's like everyone's range of motion is different. Length of the torso, hip flex, all these things are factors that may make my perfect squat look different than the person next to me, like perfect squat. So I think, like, it's just, I think that's also another double-edged sword of like social media, and like everyone's an expert, literally, and it's like it's so much information. But I guess I think it's worth taking the time to do your own research, ask people questions, like just look at stuff for you and dive deep into like the research for yourself, and then just filter it out as you like pick what you need, pick what you find valuable, and then I think if you have that access to a professional, like that's obviously that's obviously the an easier way to like filter, because they can actually help you like specific to you, and so you may be watching stuff that's for someone else, not you. that doesn't really apply, and you got to filter a bit more. But I think that's another, like, I've been noticing that on social media too. Like, there's everyone's an expert
trying to show you a form
at everything, and I'm like, ooh, baby, no.
And everyone likes to tell you that you're doing it wrong. So the video start off with how you doing it wrong.
That's a big thing. Me and Ethan were just talking about that today. Like, everything is like, stop doing this. You're doing this wrong, and I'm like, I'm
gonna just stop then.
Like, what am I doing right?
Right. And that's so tough, because it creates it elevates the intimidation of going to the gym.
Especially for new people, I think it's so much information now that it's almost like, well, how do I filter? Like, how do I know what's right and what's wrong?
What to do,
Like, I watched a video the other day. I can go too deep into it, but I watched a video the other day that was like showing the difference between two movements. And I know the difference between two movements.
Obviously.
And the explanation was wrong. And then, but like... It was like this trend of like fitness influencers hopping on and doing the same exact video. Like, this is the difference between these two movements, and let me show you. Is
it a Russian deadlift?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. But it's Romanian deadlift too.
Sorry. I didn't even realize I said Russian. Sorry, guys.
I was gonna let it slide.
No, I got you corrected. I would watch it, be like, ugh.
Yeah, but no, it was glute thrusts and glute bridges. But
yes, I kept seeing a bunch of those.
And then I've seen people saying the right thing and people saying the wrong thing, and like it's a mix of like responses to the video. Some people are like, well, this person is like, you're 100% wrong. Like, what are you talking about? And then people like, it totally discredited their like knowledge for some of these people. They were like, you ain't making no sense. Like, how you saying this? And you're supposed to be a trainer, yada, yada, yada.
Thousands of views.
And then you have some people that are like saying the wrong thing. And then everyone in the comments is like, oh my God, thank you so much. This is so helpful. Now I know. And I'm like, see, this is why. Like, I mean, it wasn't a video that like would injure someone.
But still, yeah.
It's supposed to be an educational and informative video, but
it's given misinformation.
Yeah, right? Like that's not it.
That makes me think about, I constantly see how to get an hourglass figure. Like, listen, like, do you not know?
Go to the doctor.
Literally, do you not know it's genetics? No, I get what you mean.
Yeah, like you mind you, that's the whole thing of bodybuilding. So you can create illusions,
right?
But
you cannot. And correct me if I'm wrong. You cannot build hips. Like, trust me, I would have
hips. No,
glutes.
Yeah,
right. I would have done it by then. Trust me. Yeah. But it's those type of misinformation that goes out to where you get more self-conscious. Okay, I'm not working hard enough, or I'm not in a big thing.
And like
I'm not seeing this right. Yeah. I'm not seeing the same results as this influencer. And I think another reason, like another point I want to dive into is that, or re-emphasize, is cater to your season. Like, where are you in your life? I don't expect to have a body like yours. Not for lack of trying, but because my lifestyle is not the same as yours, and your motivation is different from mine. You literally have a platform based on it. So I would expect your body to be banging, which it is. But, right. But if I am, a teacher with 5 kids, I should not be looking at Bowflex Barbie and say, dang, I can't even look like that. I suck. Really?
Yeah, you push out 5 humans.
Literally 5 of them. Yeah. So I think another thing, and I've been guilty of that too, not seeing a image or a video on Instagram and comparing my body in many ways.
To that. Yeah, I think we all do that. But like you said, I think that's the importance of like being realistic with yourself. From like, this is my body type, this is my genetics,
right?
And then you look at, like, people look at me like, oh, you, like, how long is it gonna take me? Like, I've been working out from I was 14.
So
like, some of this stuff's been here a little while. Some of this muscle ain't just reach.
I'm sure you get annoyed with those sort of questions. How long will this take me?
Oh yeah, I mean, especially we're in a society now where we want everything like now. ASAP. Like, we could get on our apps and order food, right? And it'd be there in 20 minutes, and so it's the same thing. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to navigate those questions without discouraging people, but I try to just be as like transparent. I'm like, it's gonna take you time.
You should tell them never.
It's gonna take you time. Beyond just like, oh, I want to like you. How long is it gonna take me? But it's like, okay, I want to lose X amount of pounds. Yeah. I want to put on X amount of weight, and like how long? Like, everyone's like so fixated on the how long, but I try to tell my clients, like, focus on building the habit. Like, especially if you're not someone that's been consistent in training for a while. Oh, excuse me, okay, there you go.
That's that bubbly.
Yeah, sparkling water. If you're not someone that's been consistent in training for a while, like, just focus on building the habit, because
of doing so. Because then what's the point? Because you get to that goal and it's not sustainable. You right back.
You get to that goal and you go celebrate, and then for a couple of weeks go on vacation, and then you don't know how to navigate like
after.
Yeah, so I'm like, focus on making it a part of your lifestyle. Like, what does that look like? Whether that's twice a week, 3 times a week, going for walks, like whatever that is, like try to get into the routine of exercising, physical activity, and then start becoming more specific with your goals. Because I find when people are so goal focused, which I think you need goals, right? Or you should have some goals. But when you're so focused on the goal and not the lifestyle element, like it can be so hard to, like you said, like to you get discouraged if you're not hitting the goal and you just stop, or you hit the goal and then you're like,
all right.
Yeah, like, what do I do now? Like, can I just like,
right? What does that look like?
I always chuckle when people say like, oh, I want to get to this and then I want to just maintain. I'm like, maintaining is probably it's harder because you're like, I'm already here. Like, I want to let loose. But reality is like, you have to still figure, it's always a constant like adjusting and navigating, like, okay, from where you are to like where you want to be, what you want to be, or what you want to maintain, where you want to be. So yeah, I mean, I think it's just, it's tricky. Like, you want to be goal oriented, but you also want to focus on like we talk about longevity, right? And being able to maintain whatever it is that you're doing
after the fact,
for the long run. Yeah.
What are your pet peeves in the gym?
You had to slip that question in there. Pet peeves, slamming weights.
Yeah.
I don't like when people like I think it annoys me a little bit more because I manage gym spaces and I'm just like, these ain't your weights. Like, stop dropping and flinging things around. Dropping weights, not re-racking.
Yeah, re-racking is a big thing.
Taking, like, using a machine for like
forever.
Like you hold. I get like people may do like a full like rack workout, but if you're in a gym and you only got 1 or 2 of these things,
especially when it's only 1 or 2,
and it's peak time, like move.
Yeah. A part of that, I hate when people put their stuff on the equipment to like
and they in there.
hold,
Yeah.
or they sit on their phone for minutes at a time. Yeah. That's and I bring that up because I feel like a lot of people who would be watching this are not as well versed, or not as how to say, who may be nervous about going into the gym for the first time, or introducing themselves to that. And I'm thinking like public gym environment, and wondering what to be, not to say what to be self-conscious about, what to be mindful of, versus like what you shouldn't care about, which is like we say, body, what you put on, it ain't no that big a deal or anything like that. But throwing that weight around, Kelly fighting,
dropping weight,
high key,
not putting your stuff back up, playing your music. Oh, that's a pet peeve of mine. When people do that.
Dang.
And then they be doing like classes or like stuff with no headphones. Like if you ain't bring your headphones, like you subjected to whatever the gym playing. If that's nothing, you work out inside.
You better hum.
Especially if you in there by yourself, that's different. And you want to play music on your phone.
Of course.
Cool. But like I hate when like you got gym music playing and someone's like doing a running class over their phone, or like playing their YouTube mix, and I'm like, really?
I hate playing music out loud in general. Like when
me too. I just think, and even like if I'm in public and I'm listening to a video or something, I turn my volume down or off, because I'm like, people don't want to hear what I listen to.
You never know, right? Yeah.
So that's another pet peeve. I got plenty.
Okay.
Not cleaning up behind you, like leaving your sweat stains on stuff.
That's a big thing for me as well. I feel like another one is when people, I don't know what people do, is when people watch you work out because they want to like intimidate you off of the set or off of the machine. I feel like that's where it gets a bit like, all right, guys, could you not?
There's a guy in my gym that, well, there's two guys that used to come to my gym. You know, Balmore is a smaller gym. So they come in and there's only like one power rack. There's a power rack and a Smith machine. And they used to work out around the same time. One of them ended up like going to another gym eventually, but I knew one of them pretty well, and like he was there for years, and I almost knew his workout schedule, like, but he would usually, if he's doing legs, he usually would be at the power rack. Well, even upper body too, he'd be at the power rack for, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes or so. He'd be doing a couple of stuff there. And this new guy would walk in and like want to go straight there. And so every single time he'd walk in, he'd be like, how much longer do you have there? Or like, one time he asked him if he could work in with him, and he was like, I watched it all unfold, and he was like, no. He literally was like, no, can't you just wait? I was like, there's that. He ain't going to ask you no more.
Yeah, and it's one thing to ask someone like if they have a next set left or something, but it's the next thing to just like stay there and wait. To try to intimidate somebody is never that serious. That should teach you to learn a different exercise, learn a different way to work that muscle group. Thank you.
Or like what I was thinking was for them was like, if you all be bucking the same time, like come a different time.
Yeah.
Come a little later. Come a little earlier. Something.
Do a little something. Yeah. Honestly, over-exaggerated grunting is a big thing for me. I'm sorry. You can't
work around Ethan.
Ethan be like, ah! Yeah. Ethan, let's go. See, Ethan have the benefit of that. Let me tell you why. I feel like because he know that you be running the gym, so what people could tell him? Nothing. He can say my guy. Well, trying to big you and Ethan up, but I know Ethan don't care for
that's his style though. Like that's him. That's him in his zone. Like
he intense with it.
Yeah, he's intense.
It intimidates me to be honest, because I'm like, what am I doing wrong?
If you lifting like real weight, like cool, and like your last few reps, you grunt and you like woo, like I think that's for guys. Typically, that's the equivalent to us being like woo, like something burning or whatever. But like if you lifting light baby weights and you got to grunt from the first rep, you making noise. I can see your last couple, you pushing.
Right.
But like from your first, why you grunting? Yeah. Your first rep, really?
Right. That's what I mean by exaggerated. It's like, why does this require that level of intensity? Because what I'm looking at, you may need to take them weights down if you're grunting like that.
Yeah, from rep one.
Right. Because like grunting is the sign, like you say at the end of the rep, is that you exerting yourself, you exerting that energy and expressing that. But on your first set, that is a sign, that you should take the weight down. In case anybody was wondering.
Before we wrap up, I want to do a quick little game. I like to do a couple of this or that questions, just so the people can know you a little better.
Spicy.
Outside of it really ain't spicy.
Not spicy. Mild.
So you'll answer, then I'll answer. Do you prefer spending a quiet evening at home or going out?
Going out. Only because I like to dress up.
I knew he was going to say
okay.
that. Yeah.
What about you?
Lately, it's been nights in.
Fair.
Like, we usually will turn this space into, like, you bring the hookah out, order some food, you know, so if
the vibe's better home.
Yeah, and like, I ain't got to go nowhere.
Yeah.
Still put on, you know, still get cute.
Right.
Have people come over. We may do that sometimes, but I've been leaning on that more, but sometimes I like both, but as I'm aging, it's been more home.
Fair.
Would you rather read a book or watch a movie?
Learning, read a book. Entertainment, watch a movie.
I'd rather watch a movie either way.
Fair.
Okay. I'd rather watch, like, even if it's a documentary or like a true story movie that I could learn
Audiobook. Sorry.
Oh, you like audiobooks over
Yeah,
paper?
I prefer, in terms of reading.
I don't know this one. So you prefer cooking at home or going out to eat?
Going out to eat, girl.
Me too.
Getting food delivered to me. Anyway, I don't have to
physically cook. Yeah. Do more than pop it in the microwave.
Ooh,
all right. Would you rather travel to a new city? We can skip that one.
Okay.
Because I already know that. Do you prefer listening to music or to podcasts? Was it while you work out?
Oh, music.
Music,
yeah.
Me too.
A podcast, I can sit down. I went
in a phase of like listening to like podcasts, audiobooks while I was working out, but then I was like, no, I need music to get me through this.
Especially weightlifting, yeah.
I could listen like while I do cardio.
Yes.
What else? Do you prefer work? This is actually applicable to you. Do you prefer working from home or from an office?
For my line of work, definitely the office, just because the system is set up for the screen's huge, the equipment that we got is amazing. My home office is sad.
It's enough to get by. Yeah, I prefer. Well, my office is at home, so
fair.
Yeah. Do you prefer a beach day? This is actually applicable. Beach day or a day in the mountains?
Ooh, a beach day. I lived in Utah. Shout out to the squad back there, but I'm not a hiking girl.
I already know. I don't.
You know these. She my bestie, y'all. So I don't know why she asked me these things. It's for y'all. It's not for her. Fair.
Would you rather dress up for a fancy event or keep it casual?
Come on now.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Look at us. All right. Do you prefer spending time alone or with others?
Ooh, that's a good one. As of late, honestly, alone. Yeah.
I mean, I go in seasons.
Yeah, that's why I said it's a tough one. Yeah, especially who the others are.
Yeah. Do I know them? How well do I know them? Would you rather receive a practical gift or a sentimental one?
Sentimental. Make me cry.
Oh, damn.
Make me cry. Kill I be crying.
I don't know. I like sentimental gifts, but I'm also like,
y'all, let me tell you
what I can do with this.
No, let me tell you this. Let me tell you how unsentimental, whatever that word is, that Kelly is. In the smallest things, I'm like, oh, Kel. So Kel brought me, you remember this when we went to Fort Lauderdale for that training session, and we went to some restaurant, and you bought me chip, the chip and the smoothie, and the chips was salt and vinegar. And I was like, oh, she knows that I love salt and vinegar. And I tell you this, we was in the restaurant when I said this, anyway, when we got back home. And I was like, Kelly, I love how you got my favorite chip. You knew that was my favorite chip. It's the little things. Kelly was like, instead of her saying, yeah, Gabby, she was like, oh, I just pick a random one. I didn't know. And I'm looking at this girl like, even when she can't even try. She don't even try. Even, I don't know how.
Sometimes I am sentimental.
Sometimes.
I don't know, but I like practical. I like giving and I like receiving practical. Like,
yeah.
I like, I mean, I think I can be a mix. Like, but it takes a bit more effort for me to be like, all right, like I can get you something like actually sentimental. Yeah. Like, I got you. What I got you for Christmas? I got you like a resume builder.
Well, yeah.
Something one year. Like, for me, that was
super practical.
That was practical.
It was sentimental as well because you knew I was job hunting. Like, you knew I needed to get my life.
Yeah, it was more practical.
Look at y'all, Exhibit A.
That was more practical to me because I'm like,
I am saying that it's sentimental. I am saying it's sentimental to me. It's the deep side.
I'm just saying, like, my thought process behind it was that it's a practical gift. Like, I know that instead of getting you earrings which you may have like with your name in it that may have been. I don't know. I guess I don't know if that's sentimental, but instead of getting you earrings or jewelry with your name in it, I got you something like that's gonna practically help
I so
you.
love this conversation. This is a real life example as to why she cannot accept that I am saying this is also sentimental. She just is like, you know what? It's not.
I'm just saying.
I know what you just said. You just said it.
The intention behind it was not to be sentimental. I don't think I typically don't go out with the objective of something
to be sentimental.
Yeah, but it may be received as sentimental by people like you.
What do you mean, you people? Oh, gosh. Stressful.
All right, Gabby. Do you have any questions for me? Any final words you want to share with the audience?
What is your favorite thing about me?
Oh, dear.
Sentimental. Go.
My favorite thing about you, honestly, and this could be my psycho talking.
Come on. It's literally the disclaimer.
Okay,
that
sorry.
She
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so my favorite thing about you is that you are unapologetically yourself. Like, from day one, you're not afraid to be goofy. You're not afraid to be just you. And I think that is rare. You have a lot of people, and I've ran to a lot of people like through college, different friend groups that I was in college, different people I ran into. Like they feel they have to be a certain way around certain people, right. And it's like with you, it's like you get what you get, and if you don't get it, that's okay.
Worse, I have a best friend that accepts me for who I am. So I actually be like, well, I guess when I get home in the Bahamas, I'll get to go out. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
So I think that's my favorite thing. Like, you just like, and I think like more specific to our relationship, like there's never judgment in whatever we share. Like, never. Whether it's like we've cried together, we've laughed together, we've celebrated together. Like, I've told you things, you told me things like that we haven't shared out. Yeah, that we haven't shared outside of that. And like, it's the range of conversation. Like, I have some people that I can only share. I feel like I can only share certain things with, or that wouldn't understand
a particular
certain
side
elements.
of you.
Yeah. And so I think that's probably like more specific to us. Like, that's my favorite thing. Like, the fact that there's no judgment, and like both of us have that freedom of like we could be 100% us. Like, and sometimes there's no explanation. Like, I can't explain it fully, but like you know what I mean.
You love me.
I do.
Sentimental.
Yes. I can be sentimental.
It took a whole podcast to get this out.
I can be sentimental
if I wanna. Let me tell you my favorite thing about you.
Sure.
Okay. My favorite thing about you, and I'm sure you heard this before, but it's your drive. And I don't mean it just in terms of, your dedication, what have you achieved, but you show people and me that I don't have to look to marrying a rich person or hoping that I hear me out, hoping that I hit the lottery, or hoping that some serendipity happened for me to level up. Like, I take my future into my hands, and I control my destiny to a certain degree, but I'm the person that affects change in my life. And I feel like what makes you stand out so much, you don't just talk about it, like, you about that action. If you say, y'all, she told me she's starting this podcast, and I don't even have to follow up with her. It got started. Like, every time you've told me something, you followed through with it. And I love how you commit to things in a way that, low-key, I feel like if I could tattoo something on your forehead, there'll be no excuses. I'm just saying. And the reason why I love that about you, and this is ironically more practical and less sentimental, is that is such a rare quality to have. And hey, let's be real. Life happens. But so for you to be a person who is so dedicated and so open to creating a platform for other people to be dedicated, that's the most important thing. You don't just shine, like, you help other people shine as well. And that's so admirable, because a lot of females especially get intimidated when it comes to bringing light to somebody else. Even with this podcast, even with you being a trainer, even with your platform, you are uplifting other people as well as being elevated within your own right. So yeah,
look how you got me choked up. Thank you.
Yeah, it's real.
I really appreciate you. Let's do a little chat. I almost finished my drink. But
I mean, it was water, so let's start there.
You had it today? No,
you called it sparkling water way back when.
I did.
It's a tough time out there.
Gabby, I appreciate you.
What you saying? Take me out to dinner.
I appreciate.
Whenever,
anytime.
Okay.
Got you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you stopping on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I always appreciate the conversation. We just let them in on a little bit of.
Yeah.
It was definitely more organized than our typical conversation. So I'll say that.
A little mild.
But it was still good, and I think we dropped a lot of stuff that I think a lot of people benefit from, and hopefully, everyone watching got something, at least one thing they took away from it that they could run out and go be great with. And so
no excuses.
No excuses on the forehead. I'm just imaginary tat.
Yeah, not for real.
But yeah, so we're going to close it out. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And thank you again, Gabby, for being here.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Drop us a comment. I'm going to post Gabby's handles, social media handles, links in the description. So if you want to connect with her, follow her, be sure to do that. And until next time, y'all, I'm out. We're out.
Bye.
Bye.